It's time to finish the game. Let's go.
Ball first and 10 at the 12-yard line of the Seahawks. Sean goes right, has a cut back lane, and he does. He's across the 20, the 25, 30, 35, 40. Here he goes. Are they going to catch him? 40, 35, 30, 25, 10, 5. Touchdown Seahawks. What a run by Sean Alexander.
We gonna finish the game.
All right, well, welcome to Finish the Game with Sean Alexander. I'm Claude Jennings in studio. Honored to be in studio with Sean Alexander. Okay, so Sean, people see, the touchdowns, and they follow the high school career, college career, and sometimes, we just think that, man, if I just had that, life would be great for me. We don't get to see the valleys, the highs, the lows, and things like that. What are some of the things that have just kind of helped you through some of the highs and lows? Because people don't see that. You know what I mean? They just see the highs.
Smile fools you.
Right. Right.
I tend to be optimistic because I'm an optimistic person. I smile. I have a good time. I laugh. We have tons of jokes. I believe that's the good life,
Yeah.
I think that at times I would hurt people by not explaining to people trials, tests,
right.
difficulties. But I tell you, some of the books I love to read, one of them I just read, it said the sweetness of life is found in the trial.
Wow.
And so you don't really know how good you got it until that trial comes.
Yeah, that's
what I mean?
Yeah.
And so for me, like I'll share. Let me share a couple of them with you. It's easy for me to talk about football. So if we go to my freshman year, most folks know, I guess it was November. I was the third string running back, and the coach decided to throw me in the game against LSU one evening in November and put me in for a couple snaps and take me out. And I tell you, I don't know what happened. In the first 5 or 6 carries, I had 3 touchdowns and like 180 yards, in this ESPN night. And we finished the game, and I break the school record as a freshman. I'm 19 years old, 291 yards, and 4 touchdowns. I know this is going to be a sad story.
Like when does it get bad?
Yeah, so it gets bad here. See, this is what happened. Then I got tackled, right? And so I finished that year, and I'm freshman big time, and it's great. Until the sophomore year starts, and we had 2 senior guys in front of me, and they were good college football players. They were. And so in the middle of this season starts, I know I'm not going to play a lot, but I figured I'd play a little bit, and I'm not playing that much. And then I get a foot sprain. It was a mid-foot sprain. And so basically it's like dislocating the middle of your foot. Kind of sounds painful. It is way more painful than what I just said. But the thing is, you x-ray it and you can't really tell anything's wrong from above or from the side. You got to almost like look at it from underneath from where I did it. And when no one thought about that, and so you would just see a perfectly fine foot that I couldn't walk on.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Right,
and so immediately it becomes this sophomore slump.
Yeah.
Who's this chump? He's kind of soft. Look at him smiling and giggling over there eating donuts. This guy's soft and weak.
Right. Can't play because his foot hurts.
Yeah, he can't play. He's got a hangnail somewhere.
Right.
And you hear that stuff, and it's just brutal. You know what I mean? It's brutal because you want to keep it as a game, but then you do love the accolades. You know what I mean? That stuff feels good. But you all of a sudden start hearing people boo you. Really for me, the first time, they start saying,
like,
maybe you can't cut it.
Right.
And you kind of wonder, can you cut it? Oh, we played high school in Kentucky, and I mean, we beat those schools in Ohio, and, we there's a lot of kids that we played D1 against, and I kind of dominated them. And my freshman year was awesome, and I have all the records for 1 year, but maybe I can't cut it. Maybe all that other stuff was quote unquote luck, which you don't even know if that's even a word. You know what I mean?
Right.
And but what do you do when no one cheers for you? Nothing's going good. Even the simplest stuff, like for me, naturally gifted at running and walking, you can't do.
Wow.
Well, what do you do? And then everybody looks at you like you should do it. Not only do it, you should be great at it.
Right.
And those are those times where you got to grab something bigger than you, and I read a great scripture, James 1:2-4. It says, consider it pure joy when you face the trials. It's the testing of your faith that makes you mature and complete, not lacking anything. And so I just learned, like, you know what, this is a trial. You know what, like if I never play at Alabama again, if I can't cut the cheese, if we can't figure out what's wrong with my foot, I'm going to learn how to be mature and complete.
Wow.
And so it kind of taught me, don't take the goods from people or the bads, because they're both a little wrong. You know?
Right.
Sean, you ain't that
you're not
sweet.
as great as
Sean,
everybody say, but you're also not as bad. Yeah.
And it was good because, you know, you leave Alabama with all the records my senior year, and I go to Seattle, and every time I come back to Alabama, I'm like the greatest player ever. And then you know, a decade later, Mark Ingram wins the Heisman. He's the first Heisman winner. So I'm like,
that can be a blow. For
I
some
still
guys
got all the records, but I'm like, hold on, am I not y'all's favorite? Well, hold on, guess what? I'm not going to let y'all take me there. Like I don't have an identity whether y'all.
I was going to say, you know what? Talk about that a little bit, because so many people put their identity in the wrong place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that can be a huge ego blow that will like turn people into a downward spiral, because now they don't know who they are anymore because they feel like I'm replaced.
That's right. And so through this foot injury my sophomore year, I learned to not have my identity wrapped in what people said. Even if it was family. Oh, Sean, you're the best. Well, guess what? Eventually, I'm going to have a nephew or somebody just crush all my little stuff, you know?
Oh, man.
And so I understood that Alabama, Mark Ingram is the first Heisman winner. So who's the best, Sean or Mark? I don't care. I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, hey, thank you all for my time. I passed the torch. That's what we say at Alabama. I passed the torch, carried it as well as I could. I've given the torch up. I'm good with that.
Right.
And whatever y'all say about other people that come and hold the torch, and hey, that's good, you know? And so you take it on to Seattle, break all the Seattle Seahawks records. We turn the whole program around, and they're winning in their first Super Bowl, and now they've been to Super Bowl the last 2 years. And now, like as my brother would say, now all the girls no longer have skin fades. Now they all got gold teeth now. They all rocking the Marshawn Lynch.
That's right.
How do you feel, Sean? Is Marshawn... Dude, I passed the torch.
Right.
You know, my identity is not in that.
It's not in it.
I've got to be okay with that, and I've got to actually really let that not be my identity.
Yeah.
And that's what I learned through trials. It matured me.
Yeah. So how does someone take that situation now? I mean, it could be, you know, someone who's trying to be, you know, a good father, or maybe it has to do with work, and they're struggling with their identity. How can they find who they are?
You know what? Yeah, like there was a kid that played at Alabama, and he called me up and he said, "Hey, I know you're a believer. I know that," and I've actually had this in two different conversations. Another kid writes music in Nashville. I call them all kids, but they're in their 20s. You know,
All right.
Yeah, 29 years old. This kid, you know. So, yeah. But both of them asked me the same question. One in football, one in trying to climb the music charts. Said, I know you love the Lord. I know your identity is in Christ. How do you stay motivated to go be the best?
That's right. That's a good question.
And I said,
it's easy
you know,
to be complacent.
Yeah, well,
say,
okay, well, hey, it's not my identity, so I'm just going to ho hum. I'm like, no. I've got to be the best where Jesus stands up and says, that's my boy.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I want eternity Father to stand up and clap. He's the only one that matters to me.
That's heavy.
And so that is my motivation. I'm like, oh, what? Oh, okay, you're going to put me at the third string running back, and I'm going to go play with this. I'm going to eat this defense up. You know what I mean?
Right.
Oh, y'all want to hear me sing? Let me get that guitar. You know, I'm going to play. I'm going to write the greatest songs. I'm going to be connected with God. Of course, he has to be first.
Right.
And it has to be through him. But the passion and the fire of what it takes for me to do this thing is not going to drop off because you're not cheering for me. Yeah. I don't care if no one's watching. When I'm running perfect plays in the yard when I was in college and when I was in Seattle, I was running perfect plays hard. If no one saw me, no one saw me.
Right.
If coaches would see me, I'd be like, oh, I didn't really want anybody to see me. I didn't want no one to know that I was grinding. I'm working hard.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be the best where me and God know when I walk on the field to play, the game's going to be finished.
And that's how you find that identity.
That's
it. Like you said, graph for something greater than you.
Yeah.
And want to make him proud. You know what I mean? To be the best version
of me.
Of you. Yeah.
My sixth grade teacher, Miss Walton, hi, Miss Walton, down in Florence, Kentucky. I remember I failed a science test, sixth grade, the first test of the year. And my older brother, Duran, who went on to Notre Dame and played the marching band, brilliant person. He took the class the year before. And so going into the test, she was like, oh, we're going to take the test and this and that. And she says, and, when we take the test, I believe there was like changing of seatings for who gets the best grades on the test. And your brother sat here and he was so smart and he aced this test. Identity, expectation. And I remember, let me think. There's 5 letters in the alphabet. There was A, B, C, D. I didn't get an E.
Right.
And so I just remember tearing up the whole time as she was passing out them papers, and I saw them that red letter on my. And I just remember, and she said, "Why are you crying, Sean? It's just a test. We just kind of check who we are." I said, "You know what? You just want me to be Duran."
Mm-hmm.
And she said, and she teared up too, and she walked outside and said, "Sean, I don't want you to be Duran. I want you to be the best Sean Alexander the world's ever seen."
Nice.
Isn't that powerful?
Yeah.
6th grade teacher.
Wow.
And I've kept that, and I told that at the induction speech to the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame. I said, and I invited her to it because that became the drive to be the best me the world has ever seen. Wow. And that's what you do. It's like, if somebody's clapping, okay, cool. It does feel good. I'm not going to lie. If somebody's booing, okay, and that does hurt.
Yeah,
we can't get away from that. You're still human. But it's not going to be an identity marker. It's not going to move you extreme either way. You know what I mean? And,
right.
And that's because you're going to be the best you the world has ever seen, because there's only one you. So now you got the whole responsibility of being the best at that.
You're listening to Finish the Game with Sean Alexander.